Welcome to the happy hour. I am your host, Dr. Elia, and excited for another episode of inspiring and empowering you, my lovely audience, to grow, to find happiness and fulfillment, and really live your best life. Remember, life is short, so do not procrastinate your happiness and live your best life now. I am so excited for this guest, Moira Kucaba. Like, I love you so much. You're like that. I do.
I feel the same.
Yeah, guys, this lady, best-selling author, an acclaimed podcast, Low Bottom, High Rise. I love that. I love that name. Co-founder of the Energy Institute, but more importantly, a lady that has gone through an amazing transformation. And I'll just give you the 30-second, and then we'll get into it. From a struggling addict to a seven-figure CEO, one of the top producers of a billion-dollar company. She is truly blessed and inspired. I know you focus on women a lot, Moira. Hundreds of thousands of people through her podcasts, her books, and her public speaking, and just helps people be successful financially and otherwise. Moira, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for having me. I absolutely adore you. The first time we met, it was just like the sparks of our souls coming together. It was so evident, our connection and the things that we both teach that in the world, and our passion to help others just live at a higher level, right? Live at a next level life. And I'm so happy to be here to share some of my story and some of my strategies with your audience.
Thank you. I mean, literally love at first sight. I mean, we made each other, it's almost like finishing each other's sentences.
Yes.
It's almost like, when you meet somebody in life, and it's almost like a remembering, almost like I believe that our spirits are eternal. We come from somewhere and we go back, we're only here for 50, 60, 80 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember, like, I've known you and you've known me for the longest time. It was
Yeah.
instant. It was like, and we've never met before.
Yeah. I couldn't
So,
agree more.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Moira, tell us your story, though. It hasn't always been fun and games and
No.
success like it is now. So tell us your story.
Yeah, definitely hasn't been all fun and games. And, I look back, I kind of grew up very, just for reference point, like very driven, youngest of six kids, always wanted to win. I just have that
You're the
personality.
youngest of six kids?
I'm the youngest of six kids.
Wow.
Yeah. And the baby's always trying to keep up, right? So
I can
I
relate
kind
to
of,
that.
yeah, I started to have that like achiever identity. I was really good at sports. I was really good at school. I was really good at piano. I was just blessed to be really good at a lot of things. And I kind of put that pressure on myself. I think it was the perfect storm of like my personality type, society just reinforcing achiever, mentality. It was not put on by my parents at all, but I was just, and I'm sure people can relate, so hard on myself, right? I kept my standards for myself were so incredibly high. And I also grew up in a family where there was addiction in my genetics. It wasn't
Mm.
in my everyday life at all. I didn't see or grow up with that. I grew up in a really loving home, but I believe that I was born, with the genetic predisposition to addiction. I mean, hello, it's why I was so driven in sports and so driven in academics and so driven in everything that I did. And so that coupled with, when I finally found alcohol at the ripe old age of 14,
Wow.
it was a solution to the pressure problem, right? It was it was like a pressure valve was released for the first time. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can stop driving. I can just breathe. I can have fun. I can, be a little looser. And I just sought that out over and over and over and over again to the point of being completely trapped with 24/7 addiction by the time I was 20 years old. I mean, there wasn't a moment
Wow.
in my life, 20 to 21 years old, where I either was passed out from alcohol, mainly some drugs, or I was awake and using. So it got bad really, really fast.
It sounds so hard to believe that you're the same person as who you're describing. And I got to ask you one question. Did you have an inner critic?
Yes, I think I had probably the harshest inner critic, right? The person that was beating myself up. And so I didn't really have a confidence problem pre-addiction, but goodness gracious. I mean, the shame and the guilt and the lack of just belief in yourself that comes from living daily with an addiction, promising yourself every single day that you're not going
This
to
is
do
it.
it, and then
Right.
giving in, knowing that like I am one of the strongest people I know. Like when I set my mind to something, I can do whatever I want to achieve. What is the problem? What, and then you start that, what is wrong with me? I'm so broken. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get it. I couldn't see a way out. I couldn't find my way out of the addiction. Obviously, I finally did when I was 21 years old.
Was
By the
there a
time,
rock bottom for you? Did you hit or not quite rock
for
bottom? Not
sure.
everybody has to hit rock bottom necessarily, to turn things around.
For sure, for sure. I think for me, absolute rock bottom. Like I said, the amount of use was absolutely insane. And really, my rock bottom was I had tried a lot of things and nothing was working. And so I was definitely about to just check out myself. I mean, I was on the
Mhm.
brink of, suicidal thoughts and like, I can't go on this way. I can't live this way. I can't put the people that I love through this anymore, and I'm just going to have to end my life. So there was a definite
Wow.
rock bottom there for sure.
And then, I mean, how
And
did
then,
then? Well, I
and
mean, something must
then,
have happened.
yeah. So, I mean, I look back on that and it's so indicative of my business success, right? So there was a spiritual solution, but there was also a grit, action, hard work solution. It's like, I believe that there was this moment that somehow I was given grace, that I was given this beautiful gift of,
Mm.
in recovery, we talk about the gift of desperation. And so somehow, some way, God, saw fit that I would receive the gift of sobriety, but with that comes an insane commitment to the work of recovery and a relentless pursuit of sobriety and figuring that out and showing up in meetings every day and doing the work and doing the steps and getting a sponsor. And it's not like I was just given the gift one day and all of a sudden everything was, sunshine and rainbows.
I love the words relentless pursuit. And
Mhm.
it's not just relentless pursuit of sobriety, it's relentless pursuit for anything that we hold dear. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be your profession, it could be your family, it could be, whatever, drives you and your purpose. So those basically, to me, relentless pursuit means never give up. No
Yes.
matter what happens, just keep going, and good things will happen in the end.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so that put me on this beautiful path of sobriety, personal growth, self-discovery. And it took me a lot of years to look back and realize this. It probably took me 15 years of sobriety to get to the point where I realized that instead of carrying kind of a scarlet letter of a little bit of shame around the fact that I was in recovery, that what allowed me to find success in every arena in my life was the same thing, honestly, within me that drove me to drink, right? It's that relentlessness, it's that drive, it's that God given gift that if
Mhm.
used the right way, I can go build a multi-million dollar business. I can go create incredible relationships with my family. I can go chase with relentless pursuit. It's like the best things in life. I was just chasing the wrong things there for a while and got trapped, right? Got trapped in this horrible cage of addiction. And so, then I started to pivot because at one point I started to have a ton of success, in like I think I would even say because I owned Pilates and wellness studios for many years, so I was scaling those businesses and growing those businesses, but I was also finding healing from an eating disorder because it wasn't just alcohol addiction. It never is with us addicts, right? We always have a slew of things. So I was healing from that, and I was finding business success. I was working really hard on cultivating a beautiful marriage. And so I kind of arrived at this point where I thought, whoa, like look at my life, like it's really freaking good. I have a great marriage and a healthy body and a thriving business, and it was just that servant heart of mine that was like, I need to teach other people what I've done. Like not many people experience this radical transformation, number one, but then this radical trajectory of success in business and family and all those other things. And so I had to really kind of look back on my own life and go, what the heck happened? Like, how did I do that? What were the steps and what were the strategies? And so now I get to teach that to women all over the world.
So I'm kind of curious because I've seen that, having worked with senior leaders, very successful business owners and entrepreneurs, successful by the world standards, certainly, who when they found success in the way that, the world kind of describes it anyway, that actually threatened their sobriety, and some of them actually went backwards,
Mhm.
and they went back into the bottle, went back to doing, drugs and other addictive behavior, because deep down inside, they didn't believe that they deserved the success. So now you have success on every level, physically, family, relationships, financially, and career-wise. Did that ever jeopardize your sobriety, or were you on a good path no matter what?
I don't think it ever jeopardized my sobriety because I just feel so much gratitude.
So you did okay.
I don't feel unworthy of it. And I think
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
because
asking. Yeah, did you ever
my
feel?
belief is that we are all so freaking worthy, that we are, and so I teach
I
people
love that.
how to find that,
Yes.
right? It's like we serve an abundant higher power, God, whatever you want to call it. There's enough to go around. Like we are meant to live abundant, joyful, successful, rich on every level
This
lives.
is why I love you, because you're speaking my language. This is exactly like this is why we finish each other's sentences. It's
Yes.
exactly right. But we have to believe that. It's easy
Yeah.
to say it and it's easy to hear from somebody else, experts and so on. But it does take work.
It
And I love the fact that you said it took you like 15 years. So
Mhm.
it's not like it's overnight. I mean, I know
Right.
for the time that we have, we're trying to crunch as much information
Yeah.
and share with the audience as much, but it does take work to
It
get there.
does. It does take work. And I mean, relentless is the perfect word because a lot of things that you're working on don't work, right? You're going down a path and you're like, well, I'm not getting the result that I want, or I'm not finding that level of joy that I want. So it's constantly trying new things. And I think this is the reason why it's the most brilliant move you can make. And it certainly doesn't have to be me, but to hire a coach or a mentor or
Mm,
read the
yes.
books even and listen to the podcast because hello, you can take 25 years of my life experience and I've extracted all the lessons, I've extracted the steps, I've extracted the frameworks, and so have so many other great thought leaders and distilled them down into what we teach in the world. When you realize what a shortcut that is, you pay more attention,
And we
right?
fast forward success, I
Yeah,
think. So, okay, so let's pivot
absolutely.
right now. So let's talk about the nuggets. Tell me
Yeah.
about what you teach your clients, and so what you can share with the audience as well. What made you successful that you can replicate? So anybody
Yes.
that's hearing this, like, I think I can apply that in my life. So let's go. It's
Yes, 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 yes. I'll give you a quick acronym. So,
okay.
if we kind of pull out of all the different ways to be successful and all the many things that we have to do, what is at the foundation or what encompasses it at all to me is energy, right? Like when we
Okay.
have energy, when we are operating at a higher vibration, we're connected spiritually. That's kind of where we tap into manifestation and law of attraction. And I'm not some like woo woo person. I love the spiritual side of things, but I love the science backed side of things too. And so I think that's one of the reasons I'm able to kind of teach these things because I go to both extremes with it. But at the foundation of everything is energy. Energy is going to dictate your
Mhm.
marriage. Energy is going to dictate your success in the workplace. Energy is going to dictate whether you can sell. Energy is everything. So I love the word vibe because to me, I want to live a high vibe life, right? Which means a happy life, which means a
Right.
next level life. And it was pretty much divinely given to me. I was looking at this and I was like, how can I distill everything that I teach, the main tenets of what I teach, into this concept? And so if you take just the acronym for the word vibe, and obviously I could teach for literally a half day on each letter. I'm not going to do that. But the V is vision, visualization.
Okay.
If we don't have vision, if we don't have goals, if we don't have clarity of what we want and why we want it, we're never going to get anything, right? I mean, most of the time, it sounds so trivial or elementary to say, but most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want.
They like vision.
They don't
Yes.
have that vision. They don't have that laser focused goal. So it has to start with vision. You have to pull out of your life and sit down and work on your life to then go back into your life and execute the
How do
correct
you
plan.
create vision? Okay, so I agree with you, and I'm a visionary too. I manifest things like you do, but how do you create vision if you've never done it before?
Yeah, and I think this is that's why it's so great to have a little bit of a guide or a teacher. But the biggest thing I teach about vision is you can't do it wrong, right? The question that I always
Mm.
pose is if you had all the money, like all the money, and all the free time in the entire world, what would your life look like? If
Yeah,
you,
I call it the magic wand. If you had a magic wand, you had all
yeah,
the money at the time, the same thing exactly. What would you
yeah.
do? Yes.
Yeah, no limits, no limits, right? Because again, it's all possible for anyone if they have the right tools, if they have the right guide to get them there. So vision is everything, and it starts with answering that question. Now,
Although you
yeah,
know that people are afraid to dream though sometimes.
they are so
They're
afraid to
afraid to
dream
dream.
because it goes back to what you said. They don't feel worthy, right? They
Right.
don't feel deserving. They also just don't think it's possible for
Right.
them. And I think when you work with someone that is constantly telling you and breathing belief into you and reminding you why it's possible, starts to become possible. And that's really the second step. So the I is what I call is you have to investigate. So there are a lot of times where, I had a very negative mindset. I had a very, kind of biased mindset to lack, to scarcity.
Isn't this hard to believe? I know you're listening to this later. Go, there's no way. She's always been this way. But listen to what she just said. It wasn't always this way. This is really the important factor, right? So
Yeah.
we can change. We have the power to choose on a
Yes.
daily basis what kind of life we want to live.
Yeah, 100%. So let's like think about it. I'm just going to kind of give
So
this example.
investigate. Tell me what do you mean? What do you mean by investigate? What does
Right.
that mean?
So investigating is really I have a morning process journal that's not just like a make you feel good morning process journal. It's really actually truly rewiring your brain. I think we know enough about neuroplasticity now to understand that if we're operating from our old brain that's been on this earth for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 70 years, whatever it is, we are firing from that automatic place that we have hardwired negative habits, negative thought patterns. We have to change that. So the investigate is to ask yourself better questions. So how am
For
I winning
example,
today?
yeah, for example,
Yeah, how am I winning today? How does the universe have my back? How am I succeeding? Not just what am I grateful for, because that's a little too vague.
yeah.
It's what happened today, right? What happened literally today? So I can start to recondition my mind to build my confidence, to build my belief. If I got sober and I just kind of woke up out of this train wreck of 5 years and said, I want to be a millionaire, there's no way that I, a brand new, freshly new sober addict, would have any belief in myself, right? But if I start this daily practice of going, well, where did I win today? Where did I succeed today? Where were the wins in my business? If I start to see these little teeny tiny pebbles of proof, like real concrete hard proof, I start to focus on that and the doubt starts to roll away,
What I
right?
love about those questions, they're all geared to produce a positive outcome. All
Yes.
three of them are like beautiful. So your brain automatically begins to switch from scarcity to abundance, from
Yes.
loss to wins, right? And
Yes.
if you do that, repeat it, we know that you can create a habit in under a month if you do something on a
Yes.
daily basis.
Yes.
So that's okay. So that's the I. Okay, let's
So
keep
that's
going.
the I. You have to investigate. And really, in the investigation, you're looking for proof of why that vision can come to life. So do you see where it's kind of there's a through line
Yes,
there,
of
right?
course.
And so
Yes.
then the B is really everything. It's the belief,
Mhm.
right? It's building the belief. So if you do the process over time, you start to believe in a new version of you. You start to see a future you that is almost coming just clearer and clearer out of the picture, and you start to believe. I mean, belief is everything. I always say to all the people that I train and coach, and they say, well, this is what I want, and I say, awesome, do you think it's possible? And they go, no. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, guess what, it's not going to happen.
Like-
They're like, but I thought you were going to be the one that got me there. I'm like, I can't get you there. If you don't believe it's going to happen, it will never happen. But if you tell me, I just have this gut feeling it's going to happen, I have no clue how I'm going to get there. I don't know why,
But
but
I
Moira,
believe.
but I believe
That's right.
somewhere deep down inside that's going to happen for me. It might sound crazy. I shouldn't be saying this out loud. And then I'm like, it's 100% going to happen because you have the belief,
Okay,
right?
we got to wrap this up. So we
I
got to go
know,
to the
I
E.
know.
The E is, I'm going to guess, is it energy or no?
No,
Oh, it's
it's
not
not.
energy. What is
Energy
it?
is everything, right? The
Okay.
vibe is the energy, but E is execute.
Oh, to
Most
execute. Oh,
people
put it into practice.
put it
Yeah.
into practice, take massive action. And this comes down to, pre-planning your workday. So when you wake up in the morning, you know what you're doing from 8 to 9, you know what you're doing from 9 to 10. You've prioritized the needle movers, the income producing activities in your dreams. So you're not just waking up. What most people do is they're responding. They're responding to text messages, they're responding to emails. They're not taking control of their day. So when we execute, it's not just taking massive action, it's taking smart action. It's prioritizing the things that are going to move the needle towards that dream. And when you do all four of those things, it is inevitable. Your success is inevitable.
Moira, wow, a home run, a grand slam, not even a home run. I'm going to start actually implementing Vibe because it just makes, just rationally, I'm my male brain here. It makes rational sense if you follow that path. I know that's one thing that I don't do. It's the investigate or asking those questions. That's not a habit that I normally have. The vision and the belief and the execution, yes, but I think I want to add the I in my particular case.
Yeah, it
So
changes everything. It brings everything up a level, right? It makes the vision brighter. It makes the belief bigger. It conditions your brain, just like we were talking about. So a couple other questions are, what am I excited about today? And those types of things, or what am I proud of myself for today? All of a sudden, what we have to do becomes, actually, I'm really excited to do that. We start to recondition.
And you're totally right. That's different. Not that gratitude. I mean, I love being great.
Sure.
Great gratitude is a wonderful thing, but this is different.
Mhm.
What you're saying. So I
Yes.
can't thank you enough for being on the show, inspiring, empowering women and people around the globe with your energy, your passion, and your love.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thanks for
Thank you for having me. It is
of
such a
course.
pleasure. I'm so honored to be on the show,
Um,
and you are just doing such amazing work in the world. So
how
keep
are
it
you?
up.
Thank you so much. All right.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's all I can say, Moira. I mean, just a home run, a grand slam, like I said. So, my biggest takeaway again is vibe, right? Vision, investigate, do your due diligence, and get others to help along the way. Belief, and ultimately execute. And I initially I thought the E stood for energy, but energy is the whole thing. But the execution is key because and I've shared this before. In life, it doesn't matter what we know. What matters is what do we do with what we know. We can know all these things in dream, in or daydream or whatever, but if we don't move into action and execute things, nothing is really going to get accomplished. So the call to action today is do your own vibe and just try it out. Again, I think I do pretty well two out of those, maybe three out of those four. But the investigation part and asking those positive leading questions, it's something that I need to implement in my own life. And that's one of my biggest takeaways from today's show with Moira. Again, great lady, inspirational story. And my goal and my commitment to you is that every week I'm going to bring guests just like her that are going to inspire and empower you to live your best life, your happiest life, and to do it now, not in a month, not 10 years from now, not, when you retire or whatever, but let's all live our best lives now. And I can't wait to see you next week. I'm going to have another amazing guest. Until then, have a wonderful week. Thank you.